was a full month that the PBA was away from the hard court as it expressed its support to the country's efforts against the COVID-19 pandemic. But as resilient as everyone has been, here we are, back on the hard court once again, the PBA heading over to Bacolor, Pampanga, into the Don Honorio Ventura State University as it once again enters a bubble to resume basketball action, to bring entertainment back on the monitors of every basketball crazy Filipino. It's been tough, but here we are, and the PBA has found a way once again, to resume basketball, and we deliver it to you right here on PBA Rush. This is the continuation of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Jut Sulit here alongside Vince Hizon and Coach Vince. We got Blackwater. Probably needed that break as they were really, struggling for form, 0-4, going up against TNT, undefeated as of today with a 3-0 slate.
Yeah, it's a good time for them to just, like you said, come back, get all their senses together, work on their weaknesses. And, these opportunities, I call them opportunities when you have these long breaks, where you can really work on the things that, the things that you need to drastically improve on. And for me, it was getting stuff done in the paint as we look at our team standings.
Yep, and TNT sitting there, second to Magnolia. Those two, the only teams that remain undefeated in the current conference. As for Blackwater, after 4 losses, still after 4 games, still winless. And what hurts more, Coach Vince, is that they have already absorbed 12 straight losses dating back to the PBA bubble last year. And the record of most consecutive losses for the franchise is 13 straight back in a few years back. So if they lose here today,
they tie that.
Yeah, they tie that record.
That's not something you would actually want. So again, we are looking forward to definitely a good game. They don't want to have that sort of black eye against them. This is a breakthrough or a stay clean for Blackwater and Talking Tech. So let's just see if Blackwater can muster up the way to force Talking Tech into a situation they don't want. Again, it's a new situation, new environment, but let's just see if they can get it done. As you can see in their last game versus San Miguel, not a lot of good things happening for them. Of course, the very, very, very powerful, I said it 3 times, San Miguel. They lost by 19. They lost in the rebounds by 10. They had less 9 free throw attempts, which tells you they're not really getting the ball inside and really attacking the basket well. And their bench points, they lost that battle by 15 as well. So again, these are things that happen. They have some things like that guy right there, Cali Nabong, who's, I think, really changed his game a bit. He's added some outside prowess with his extension of his range. So again, if they can put it all together, good things can happen for them. But again, it's not going to be easy against the Talking Tex.
And one more guy that just entered the Blackwater bossing is Simon Enciso, and he has taken charge for them offensively. And you can really tell that he has the license to shoot with his team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the guy. I mean, if you say he's the one, he's the one. If you're asking who's going to be leading Blackwater, it's been his hot shooting that has allowed Blackwater to compete in their last few games. So, however, he simply is not getting enough help from other people on his team. Well, Enciso is good enough to power their offense in some stretches. When the defense starts really focusing down on him, the other members have to step up.
And when you're looking for someone to step up, you look at Baser. They're also a new addition to that team. They haven't really gotten much from Baser, but this is the guy who is second in scoring for them, and Mike Tolomia has done his share at least.
Yeah, he's definitely been solid. I use that word a lot, but he's solid for them off the bench. He's providing them with steady scoring. For that second unit, could it be just a matter of time before he cracks a starting unit? We don't know that yet, but I guess only Coach Nash Rosella would know that. Let's just see if Mike Tolomia can really be that second unit scorer or really transition into a first team scorer as well.
Yeah, well, what we can say though is whether it's starting or scoring from the bench for Mike Tolomia, he has very much been an important part of Blackwater. Now for TNT, again, undefeated in their last game. They barely escaped with a W against the Phoenix Super LPG.
Yeah, Phoenix is not a team to be taken lightly, obviously. They only squeaked away with a 4-point victory there, but despite that, they really, they did better on the boards. They were +5 there. They had a lot more steals. I think their defense is something that has to really come to the fore. I don't think they just shot well, but they played really good defense, and they just have a very strong lineup as well.
You're right about TNT not exactly shooting well. In fact, their free throw percentage is down. It's not what you expect for a team that's 3-0. Their three-point shooting is down. Imagine RR Pugoy and Jason Castro are both just 1 for 12 from the three-point range. But when it comes to Castro, he will find other ways to do damage.
The blur is definitely at home here in Pampanga. He came from the streets of Pampanga. Before he became one of the PBA best players, even Asia's best point guard, he came from the streets of Pampanga. So now he returns to a familiar place. Let's just see if he'll be able to lead Talking Text to an even stronger performance. You can look at his numbers: 12 points, almost 5 boards, 7 assists, 40% from the field. I mean, we all know what an effect he has on the game once he steps on the court.
Before Jason Castro, when he was in his younger days in the league, he had a running partner in the backcourt of TNT named Jimmy Alapag.
Yeah, we've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, and Jimmy was his mentor, but now Jason stars as a mentor of TNT's rookie in Mikey Williams.
Yeah, Mikey is a guy that a lot of people have been talking about. He's that hot topic of the PBA draft, but so far he struggled a bit to get into his groove. First 2 games anyway. Again, you don't judge a player by his first 1 or 2 games, but again, pretty decent numbers, but of course he can improve. Cold start for Mikey, 8 points, 5 boards, 21% from the field. But again, I think he's one of those guys, maybe he's like a little diesel, just got to get that motor running, and once it's going, hard to stop.
On top of the 8.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, Coach, he also averages 3.5 assists and 1.5 steals. So you know that there's a bright future when he finally settles in. But the thing is, it's not only the backcourt you worry about when you face TNT. You look at the front court, and there's that tandem of JP Eram and Troy Rosario. And the numbers are down for JP Eram, but Troy has been balling out of his wits lately.
Troy is one of those guys, I call him the baseline wizard. I mean, the way he gets stuff done along that baseline, he's just waiting for the ball.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he really works it well. And JP, as we know, he came from Blackwater before, so Blackwater knows him very well. He's a shot blocker. He's got a lot of length to his defense, and they don't necessarily need his scoring as much as they do his defense.
Yeah, and JP Eram, remember he was one of the front runners as well over the years for Defensive Player of the Year. He's just solid out there.
And a 6'6" forward from Santa Maria, Bulacan, number 33, Kelly Nobong. Head coach for Blackwater is Nash Racela. And now the starters for TNT Tropang, Giga. A 5'10" guard from Cebu City, number 13, Brian Heruela. A 6'2" guard from Talisay, Cebu, number 16, RR Pogoy. A 6'3" forward from Cagayan de Oro City, number 12, Glenn Cobontin. A 6'7" forward from Cagayan Valley, number 18, Troy Rosario. And a 6'7" center from Cebu, number 21, Kelly Williams. Head coach for TNT is Chot Reyes. Our referees for this game, North Kilingen, Janine Castro, and Joel.
Finally, PBA basketball is back. You're tuned in to PBA Rush. Shot Sulit and Coach Vince Season here to deliver the action. You see the starters for both teams, and we talked about, JP Eram not necessarily having the same numbers he did back in the PBA bubble last year. But that also paints a picture, Coach, as to why, as we bring you that tip-off. Brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA, and a reason why is Kelly Williams is back on the TNT roster, and the minutes also kind of slid down for Koy Eram. Remember before he would start, he would earn maybe in the high 20s or even in the 30s in terms of minutes per game. Now he's just playing 18 and a half.
Well, he's the kind of guy that, you don't necessarily have to have huge minutes for him to make an impact as well. And, again, all of Talking Text, I guess you could say, is also adjusting to, having Coach Chot back into the leadership position. And, we all know he's an incredible coach. He's multi-titled, and he really puts a big focus on defense. So, again, different styles, maybe from former Coach Dickel. So, again, the adjustment period is not just for the coach, but for the players as well.
You know, over the break, Coach Vince, we brought a lot of action here on PBA Rush through Shoot Around, where we look back at some of the games that happened earlier in the conference and then provided fresh analysis with our guest coaches. But it's just nice to have live games back again.
You said it, buddy. Definitely. Nothing like watching games. And, you know, we all look forward to the time when we can actually really watch the games live. But until then, this is the best we can do. And, you know, the PBA has really rose to the challenge to make it happen.
Definitely. And, oh, that is tough. We saw, I believe, that was a Blackwater player.
Dario, maybe?
Desiderius
No?
here. I initially thought it was him, but we had someone clutching on to,
Looked like an ankle.
yeah. That is not what you want in the first minute. Oh, it's Magat.
Oh no. And that's like, for me, their biggest, best big man. So, not a good situation. And actually, here's the danger. When having a game after having a pretty long layoff, it's that getting back the rhythm and the speed, and your body's not used to game speed, and things like this happen. So, you know, of course, we pray it's nothing serious, as we can see it. I don't know if he just turned an ankle coming down. He tried to block. Yeah, there it is. Landed right on Nabong's right foot, and I'll tell you, that's not fun.
That's right. And, you know, you
Ouch.
described it very well, that Magat is one of the few options that
Yeah.
Blackwater has underneath. I mean, there's
Yeah.
Nabong, but then, you know, Nabong will definitely need someone to help him out
Yeah.
in the front court. And
You know, Jet, but the way Nabong has been playing, he's been playing more like a, for me, like a stretch
stretch
four or
four,
even
yeah.
a three. The way he's been playing.
oh yeah, because he would put the ball down on the floor.
Yeah. So let's just see if you know, their game plan is going to get obviously messed up a little bit because they were planning on playing Magat a lot. But you know, with him not there, maybe that's something that could be an advantage for them as well. Let's just check it out.
But this is something also that happened, or that Blackwater did over the course of the break. They put in Carl Brian Cruz back into their active roster, and that might be a big boost for them as well.
Again, you're looking for any way to get an advantage, and right now, it's been you know, a very difficult climb for the Bossing. This, you know, in the first few games anyway, and you know, they're trying to figure out a way to get those W's. It's not going to be easy, of course. You know, Talking Tex is a very formidable foe. They've beefed up. I think they've even gotten better defensively. Let's just see if they can start making shots.
And also for Blackwater, you know, it's really the front court that they tried to make changes to. They also activated Frank Golia. And I guess, you know, what that tells us is that Coach Nash identified probably a problematic point that he wanted to find a solution for. And right now, they're up. You know, it's very early in the game, but what do you think, Coach Vince, could be something that Blackwater can put their focus on as they try to make the first dent on TNT's record?
If you really want to make a great impact on the game, I say speed it up as much as you can, you know, and try to get hot shooting-wise. If you can't get, you know, your points from the inside, you got to get them from somewhere. And, you know, they don't have, I wouldn't say the ceiling to try to really back teams in down low. So they're really going to have to, you know, push the ball, push. The guy's open, go for it.
And that might be a point of concern for Blackwater as they see R.R. Pagoy knock down a three-pointer. You know, he was just 1 for 12 from downtown heading into this game. And
Yeah.
that's very unlike Roger Pagoy.
That's, again, that's not Pagoyish the way him shooting not so accurately. But, you know, we all know that it doesn't really matter in one sense what he does at the beginning of the conference. It's where he's at, you know, momentum going into the playoffs and the deeper playoffs and even the finals where it's most important.
But also remember that it was last year, in the very first game of TNT in the bubble over in AUF in Angeles, Pampanga, where Pagoy fired away for 45 points, a career high, and he knocked down a bunch of three-pointers in that game as well. We'll see what happens here, though.
Well, he's definitely got the ability. Just a matter of getting on rhythm.
Kabuntin will try there, and
Push
no
off.
good.
They're going to call Troy for the push off there. Pretty easy call. I don't know why guys think that they can get away with putting two hands in the lower back of potential guys who are blocking them out, and the ref not call it.
Coach Vince, when we played in the Inara Sports Arena in Pasig, in the initial resumption of this conference, what we saw was players struggled from the field. It was an unfamiliar court. We know these are professionals. They've been playing basketball for a long time, but of course they got used to the rims as well over in Smart Araneta Coliseum, the Mall of Asia. They had a week of practice here in this court. Do you think that would be enough for them to acclimatize?
The way I look at it, the rim doesn't change. The court doesn't change dimensions. It's not like you're going up to, the top of Mount Apo too, so the air quality or the air, changes, the oxygen levels. There's nothing like that. So, it's just a matter of what you get accustomed to. I prefer, personally, I love gyms like this. This is a nice, not so huge gym. It's a lot tougher to focus on, rims when you got such a big background behind you. Like if you're gonna play at a huge, Araneta or, like in the US, like a Staples or something where there's something huge in the back. That sometimes messes with your depth perception. But again, it really shouldn't matter on medium range shots and close in shots. It's really on the long shots.
I'm thinking if the stands are filled, even if it's deep, maybe it's a little bit more familiar to players. But then again, with the bubble and fans not yet allowed, that really kind of changes.
It does. I personally love it when like the women are screaming crazy in the gym. So it gives you a different sense to go forward. But again, it is what it is. You can't change it for now because of the pandemic. But we're just doing whatever we can, and of course, strictly adhering to all the rules that the Department of Health and IETF and all of them have put forth. So again, we're doing the best we can.
The PBA, props to the league office for finding a way to just keep basketball on the court and allow us to enjoy the action of the PBA. As you see, Kelly Nabong, I believe that might be a second foul already. As CBC, Kyle Brian Cruz, a lot of people missed seeing him on the court and all these celebrations he makes after knocking down the three-pointer. Welcome back, CBC.
Yeah, he's got the range. As we look at Mikey Williams as he comes back, let's see if he's been working on that jumper and how to put the ball in. We all know he's got a big upside, obviously, and he just hasn't gotten his rhythm yet. And it happens, when you got a new team, new arena, new league, all of that, new interpretation of the rules maybe. It takes a few games to get going.
Before, again, we go back to the tandem of Alapag and Castro for TNT. And back then, Jimmy would be knocking down the outside shots, and then Jason would be the threat to attack. And it seems like you kind of have a little of both in Mikey Williams.
Yeah, I agree. Once he gets his jumper, we all know it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Absolutely.
He gets going. So let's just see when he can, how good he can be. What I've seen and what I've heard, the sky's the limit for this guy.
The thing is, that's going to be a charge on the Kiwag to the dismay of the Blackwater bossing. They were the first ones to get on board in this game, but then a 9-3 run for TNT. What do you think about that?
That's a great call. Number one, it looked already such a smart, heady player, Jason Castro. He was trying to take the charge all the way. I mean, from the time that the bossing player put the ball on the floor, he already had his hands down. He was saying, okay, this guy's going to lose control. Pretty easy call for the referee to make.
Imagine Jason Castro when he has the basketball and he's driving to the lane. He's the blur. He's so speedy. He's also quick to get in position to draw those fouls.
Correct. As you see Poyer take a long three-pointer there. The blondie.
Well, forgive him for having extra time during the break.
Yeah, he's seeing his creative side come out. Such a nice kid, actually. Again, I got to work with him when I was with Blackwater for some time, and he's really got a great work ethic and just an all-around nice kid.
This time out is brought to you by Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. Back here inside the Dove Soup Gym in Bacolor, Pampanga. And I know our viewers are, it's new to them. Looking at this gym, it is new to us as well because, you know, last year in the bubble, we played it in the Angeles University Foundation Gym. And even for the players. But they heard great stuff about this gym before they went there. I was fortunate enough to get to talk to Coach Ronnie Magsano a little bit, assistant coach of the Meralco Bulls. They said that they heard great stuff about this gym before they went there.
Yeah, definitely the PBA does a look-see and they check out to make sure that the gym is, you know, PBA worthy. It's got to have the right amount of bounce to it. It's got to be, you know, in really good shape. And definitely this gym really, you know, checks all those boxes. So we're looking forward to, you know, good games here. You can see there's lots of space around the gym, around the floor, I should say. So in case guys go flying, which they usually do when they go for, you know, loose balls or defensive things, start diving. So you got to have that space.
Williams a bit reckless on that attack. Here comes Blackwater, the Kiwag. He loves the open court ever since he was rising to stardom for the UST Growling Tigers. Those are the stuff that he does.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot there with some pressure. Good way to finish. Boy, here I'm putting the ball on the floor.
I feel like, you know, the Kiwag and Pumoy had similar stories in terms of how they rose to become PBA-worthy players. They really waited for their opportunity. Coach Vince in college had a lot of great players ahead of them. It wasn't until their last years, as you see them. Carl Brian Cruz knocked down a three-pointer and draws a foul in the process.
He's still down, not getting up just yet. I don't know if he's shaking up on the way. But Troy getting a little too close for comfort. See the replay, see if he made the contact. Yep. Lost, gotta.
You know, that looked
a
little arguable.
Gotta stop short. You know, that's the thing, especially now. Before, that's kind of a let go back in the old days. But you know, now the players and the shooters especially get really protected.
CBC now with a couple of three-pointers here, and is the leading scorer for Blackwater. He has 7 of the 12 points of the bossing. That is a great addition for Coach
There you
Nash.
go. We're looking for other scorers, guys who can help. You know, that's a good move they did by activating him.
He also played for Coach Nash when he was in college with FEU. The familiarity is there, but then with CBC fronting Guerra, an offensive foul was called as Boy was trying to get a position.
I think they're going to get him for 3 seconds.
Oh, there you go.
Because they were just trying to get an over-the-top play there, but you know, they hesitated on passing it to him, so it was a pretty easy call for the referee to make.
CBC was activated in lieu of Raymar Acuña, and then this guy Frank Golia, who set the screen, was activated for June Gabriel, and immediately they get inserted into the game. TNT, however, on the attack, Pugoy looked like he was fishing for a foul. Didn't get anything there. Denison down to the Kiwag, trying to leave it off to Golia. Blackwater up by 3, but they pass it to the wrong guy. Look at Castro. Jason was asking for the bucket, but it did go in.
I think, you know, you want to challenge, but then you come to your senses. You're saying, okay, I'm going to challenge this guy. But, oh, geez, this is the blur. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Just foul him.
And Bacer was actually very fortunate that that layup didn't go in.
Did you see the way he just took off? It's like a jet with the afterburners. As soon as he hit half court, his next 2 steps, and I think he was already at the free throw line. The blur.
And imagine, you know, in the mid-30s already, and he's still one of the quickest, speediest players in the league, and maybe still the continent.
He's well, he's kind of a unicorn in that sense. I mean, you wish you could just teach this kind of acceleration, but you know, a lot of it's natural. But you know, he did work very, very hard to develop it as well.
Here's Tolomia handling the rock there. And it looks like Coach Nash Rosella is still trying to ignite Baseramir and trying to set up ways for him to get good looks. It hasn't been the kindest conference as Blackwater also gets a turnover there on an illegal pick.
Yeah, he obviously just stuck his shoulder out. It's tough, you know. The way things work now, you know, a little bit of a lean. Sometimes they'll call it, sometimes they won't. So it really depends. So you have to adjust as a player. And, you know, it's also not always the fault of the guy who sets the screen. It's the guy who comes off it, because sometimes they don't go shoulder to shoulder. So it creates a difficulty for the guy actually setting the pick.
So when you're the one taking the pick, your goal is to kind of just barely rub your shoulder on the screen.
Correct. Because
There you go.
know, defense can't go between, you know, two shoulders rubbing together. So that's the idea. You want to go shoulder to shoulder, so that the defense has to go behind you, so you have the advantage.
And Alejandro, immediate offense.
Yeah.
You see that haircut, coach? You see how clean the side is?
Oh yeah.
Guess who cut that? It was
Boy Aram.
You were close. It is one of his teammates. It was Glenn Cobuntin.
Oh really?
Cobuntin posted on Instagram. He was cutting the hair of Alejandro. That might be a little side business for Glenn over there in the bubble.
Okay.
3 minutes left in the first quarter. We're tied at 14.
Uh-oh.
Good intention there for Castro, but then Golia obviously pushed Aram away as he tried to prevent that entry pass. That's going to be the second foul for Golia in just 2 minutes of action.
That was a nice little backdoor, easy play. It's just nice to watch. It's good basketball.
Absolutely, and Ciso getting on the scoring. He's getting a lot more help now for Blackwater. Coach Shotres sending out instructions to the TNT Tropang Giga. Coach Nash Racela over on the side of Blackwater bossing. They are enjoying a slim advantage here with Simon and Ciso. Actually, you know, it's just in terms of the flow of the game that Blackwater had the advantage earlier. And if they didn't turn the ball over 6 times as compared to only 2 turnovers for TNT, they might be enjoying a lead here.
You know, you definitely have to take care of the ball when you're playing against a team that will make you pay for turning the ball over, like Talking Tech. As soon as they get the turnover, they're off to the races, and they want to get that fast break going as fast as possible.
Yeah, in fact, you know, TNT leads the league in points off turnovers. They average 22 a game, Coach Vince. So this is a team that definitely enjoys, you know, picking off the passing lane and just pressuring on the side of defense. As you see, Alejandro meeting Palomia early.
Yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. When you get to the PBA, everybody talks about the scoring, how many points did this guy have, or how many points did this team have. A lot of people don't realize the focus for most coaches is on the defense. So, you know, it's something that doesn't get all the glory, but it's very important.
Good contest there for Marcelo, knocking down Palomia. But he had his body straight up. Good fake for Aram, and he goes around Semerad to score.
Boy, one-on-one from like the middle of the key. That was an easy pass, easy shot for him as well.
And Ciso looking for that three-pointer. He's definitely one who can create his own shot. There you see the step back, fall away, side of the board though. Jason Castro, one-on-one, excels in these situations. And as you can see, like you said earlier, when you got Castro running right at you, all you can do really is give a foul.
You know, not only is he fast, he has a lot of moves. Like you can see right here, he does a little in and out. Sorry, this is the Poyaran play just prior. But when Jason Castro's coming right at you, he's got those ways of getting around you, either left or right, and he does have that nice spin there too. So again, a lot of ways for him to get the mission accomplished.
Nabong checks back into the game. And as for TNT, you know, the recent highlights that we saw in this game, it tells us that they're enjoying a fast pace of this game, Coach.
They do like to run. As you can see, the disparity there in the free throws, 7-1. That just shows you Talking Tex is doing a little bit better job of really getting into that paint and forcing contact from the bossing.
It looks like TNT likes the rims better over in the Dubsu gym as compared to Inares Sports Arena, because they're perfect 8 of 8 here in the first quarter. In Inares, you know, their free throw shooting was just 63% as a team.
And plus, you know, we've had a couple weeks for them to really work on certain weaknesses, and I'm sure Coach Chad, he obviously, he's a master at checking out the stats and seeing where they can improve. He's probably put a definite emphasis on free throws, and it shows. When you work on things, you improve.
Speaking of Coach Chad, when he took over TNT again, what's been the drastic change that you noticed from the way they were playing under a different coach before, in Coach Bong Ravena?
Oh wow, it's a big difference for me in the sense that well, first of all, he's already stamped his class. We all know Coach Chad is a guy who, you know, preaches, you know, you win championships with you win games with offense, you win championships with defense. So he really puts a premium on defense, but you know, he's a kind of guy that believes in his players. Like he brought back guys like you know, Kelly Williams, and he's really trying to develop these new guys like Mikey Williams.
And as Coach Vince was mentioning earlier, Williams can really hurt you with his outside shots, and Blackwater cannot give that much space to him. Interesting, it looked like a zone there for TNT. Battle for the board, it's going to be taken by Desiderio, the shortest man in the mix there down in the middle. They just cannot get their shots to fall in.
These guys are going at it early. Kelly Nabo and Poyaram. I think they're going to get Poyaram with the foul there.
Look at this. Williams just dancing and catches Canaleta just sleeping on his heels.
You know, as a shooter, I always say this: you just want to see the ball go through once. Because once you feel you got it, okay, then you kind of like, you know, you ratchet it down. You've already figured out, you know, what you got to do different with your shot, because it changes. It really does. You know, from day to day, week to week, your shot does change. And on game days, for some reason, some guys, if you ever notice, some guys can shoot so much better in games. They're terrible in practice. Some guys are the reverse. You know, it's a rarity. You'll find a guy who can do both in practice and in games.
Those are the special players. And I know one player who's like that, can shoot well in practice and in games. I think you would name Vince Hizon, and was one of the great guys who played in the PBA.
You know what's funny is I always shot better in practice, to be honest with you.
Really?
I always felt like I was, sorry for my terminology, but I sucked in the first 3 quarters, but I was pretty good in the 4th. So that's kind of where I figured it out. So again, like I said, I'm living proof. Your shot changes, you have to adjust. So you're constantly adjusting your shot, and you know, it helps to get playing time, because that's when you get rhythm.
Well, here, you know, it was an incredible timeout that TNT had earlier. Whatever they talked about in that huddle, it propelled them to a 9-0 run. But at least now Blackwater trying to close the quarter better and trying to string up as many points as they can get.
Yeah, this is not a bad showing from them. You know, in the first quarter, they particularly didn't shoot great, but they didn't shoot bad either. They're kind of pretty good. And, you know, they had to change drastically their game plan when their big man went out with a sprained ankle. So, you know, again, give them credit for the things that they've had to adjust to already.
What it feels like, though, is they might want to show some more consistency, because it feels like they play at a good level and then kind of drop and, you know, lose stride, allow TNT build a lead. As you mentioned earlier, it only takes one. How about 2 3-pointers?
Oh, see? Now he's saying, okay, this could be the day. They said I was in a bit of a slump. Cold start for Mikey and all. Well, let's let Mikey get hot.
Only 20% from the 3-point range in his first 2 games in the PBA, but now has knocked down 2 tray bombs here in the first quarter. TNT will have 2.8 seconds to work with.
Yeah, they got the ball at the baseline because the ball didn't get touched by anybody inside the court, so it goes back to where it was thrown from. So big opportunity for them to get an extra 2 or 3. Oh, right there. Oh, what a terrible defensive breakdown there. Now you got some guys who are blaming at each other.
And that is why Coach Cho reinserted his best unit, his strongest unit, to try and get something in that final play.
There you go. That's huge. I mean, from a mere 3-4 point difference, it's ballooned to 8 in just a matter of like 6-7 seconds.
And these are the scenes that we're seeing as the PBA returns to action. First game in the resumption of the Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. It's Tropang Giga with a 10-point lead. Kelly Nabong, a recent addition to the Blackwater bossing, and he has had to do a lot for them. And like you said, Coach Vince, he hasn't been a strict big solely. He has assumed many other positions as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's proving that he is a good presence in the shaded area. We've always known he's been, one of the stronger guys in the field, but, he's trying to maximize this opportunity. And I feel he's really done a good job in the off-season of creating a new skill for himself. He stretches shooting out a little bit, although he's not shooting a great percentage. The first game, I thought he really shot well. Almost 12 points for him a game, 7 rebounds per game, 1 steal. Again, can do a little, better at having better shot selection, but he's definitely a strong guy inside. Please make that to make me look good. Oh, come on, Kelly.
Well, he did show some strength. The shot was a little bit too strong.
Yeah, maybe it's those rims, those Pampanga rims. No, just kidding.
I mean, Kelly has been a force for Blackwater, and he truly has been for every team that he has played for. Remember, with Meralco, he was helping them out in the finals against Ginebra. With San Miguel, he also showed flashes of brilliance playing behind Junmar Fajardo. And it was just that they got Otautua, and then they had to move some players around, and now he's working with Simon and Cecil, who knocks down the 3-pointer there.
He's definitely one of those guys you would entitle an enforcer as well. He's not a guy who will back down from anybody. I don't care how big. And, again, he just takes up a lot of space in the shaded lane.
Oh, the Kiwag would have wanted that to stay down, but it just rimmed out, and Ciso immediately calling his troops for a quick huddle in the court. And, and Ciso, more than getting the keys and the license to shoot, he has also been given the responsibility to really stand up as the leader, the court general for this team. It's probably a role, Coach Vince, that he hasn't really had to assume for previous teams that he played for.
Correct. He was just trying to make his mark, but here he's sort of got a target on his back. Everybody knows that he's the number 1 scorer, and he's the guy who's really going to lead them. So kind of like the heart and soul, I guess you could say, of the bossing.
And they get within 6 points now. But TNT, what they've done here in this game is they've shown balanced scoring. It truly is, one of the marks of Coach Chotreas' system. Do you think that it also could be somehow a product of him coaching in the international game? Because in the international game, you don't really expect one guy to carry you with 30 or 40 points.
Yeah, I guess you could say that added to it. But you're talking about Coach Chotreas. The guy has how many titles already?
That's right.
He knows what to do and how to do it here in the PBA. And, when you got all kinds of guys that are scoring, the defense has no idea who to guard and to focus on.
As TNT again adds to their lead. It's at 7 right now. And Ciso. Yeah, he can score from outside as well as attack the basket.
Nice quick move there. Just use a little ball fake, jabbed his guy to the left, and then just went really hard right. Gonna get another foul in I think that's Mendoza.
Boy, this is when he's most lethal. When he can get on those catch and shoot jumpers, whether it's 2 or 3, TNT will take it as long as he's in a rhythm.
He's one of those guys, his eyes light up whenever he gets the ball, obviously. He's not really, from what I've seen in the years, a guy who works away from the ball. He wants to work the ball. He wants to have the first stab at making those things happen. Some guys are better off the ball. I think Pogoy is one of those, he's really, he's a primary guy, I guess that's what you call him. When he gets the ball, he wants to be the first one to get it.
Look at that dribble drive offense in action for Coach Cho, the trademark of his system. Blackwater able to get in there and make a stop, and on the other side, convert via Desiderio.
Good play for him. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Blackwater has to push the tempo. You push the tempo against a team that just, is a little bit bigger, it might throw them off rhythm.
And when you talk about Desiderio, he's already one of the longer tenured Blackwater players as frustrations continue to build up on their side.
Yeah, that was a really bad outlet pass there. But look at this, nice little pull up, one-hander, look like one of the players from Magnolia for Boston. They always have that one-handed.
Oh yeah, remember that time
PJ Simone-esque shot.
There was a time that anyone on the Magnolia team could hit that kind of shot. Baroka, even Fingris would go for that shot. And even remember, of course, James Yap had that signature one-hander where he would float in the air.
Correct. It's effective. It works. Why not? Try it.
Coach, it's been tough for Blackwater. Really, the turnovers hurting them. And again, if you look at the stat sheet, TNT #1 in converting opponents' turnovers into points. You obviously don't want to commit errors around TNT.
Hey, don't look now. Blackwater's got an 8-2 run going.
One thing they've been is resilient.
Good defense. Forced them to call a timeout. It's going to be a 30-second.
Yeah, you know what? That was good sportsmanship between CBC, or I guess for Kelly Williams and TBC, because it looked like they were starting to get frustrated at each other at that point. But yep, a 30-second timeout was granted here for Blackwater. They are within 4, and rather than lose possession, you rather call that timeout and try to keep that momentum on your side.
Correct. It's not often you can get a good run going against a defensive team like Talking Tag. So kudos to Blackwater for really making it happen. And let's just see if they can continue it. I mean, they got guys that are, really looking to shoot the ball well, and I think they are. Desiderio and Ciso really stick out in my mind. So let's just see if they can keep going.
It was a long break for Blackwater, and like we said earlier, it was some time for them to regroup, recalibrate their attack. But then you head in to the bubble, you're back, you're ready, more ready probably than before, but then you bump into a team that's 3-0, that's playing at the top of their game. But so far, Blackwater has held has held up their ground pretty well.
You know, if you're gonna test how good you are, I mean, you can't get much of more of a better way to test it than against one of the top teams.
Absolutely.
Like Talking Tech. So you figure if they've learned something, if they've got something going during the time off, if it goes well against Talking Tech, it'll go well against any team.
It's good to see Basera Mer still aggressive and still trying to kind of look for a shot. The last time Blackwater played in that loss to San Miguel, you could really see Basera's shoulders drop. He was struggling. He was 1 for 15 from the field, 1 of 10 from three-point range. And it's also good that he had a full month to forget about that game.
Yeah, well, you got to have a short memory when it comes to these things, because you got to make sure that you know, you're always ready. You know, you can never get too high or too low. I think somebody hit hard. I think is that Pogoy? If he hit his head.
Yeah, it is. Our Pogoy, hoping he's all right. Suffered a bad fall there.
He's holding the back of his head. Looked like he had knocked it against the floor there. Yeah, again, the doctors are out there taking a look at him. It's just, well, that's a good sign. It came up. It hurts, but you know, tigas ulo talaga eh.
That's one time that yung pagiging
It's
matigas
good.
ang ulo becomes useful.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And again, good sportsmanship too as well. It wasn't malicious. No one really tried to hurt him. It just happens.
You know, coach, for these players, I think it was difficult, as some of them would tell you. Oh, he bumped
there it
into
is.
Troy Rosario, Glenn Cabunten, his
Cabunten.
teammate. And probably that whiplash also hurt him.
Didn't see it coming at all.
Again, you know, it's a unique situation with the bubble because while these guys are familiar with each other, when you suffer a tough loss, maybe via a game winner or a complete, you know, the demolishment of a team, you never want to have to walk along the same corridors or hallways as the guy from the other team. But I think what we started to see from last year's bubble is heightened sportsmanship. You know, with players really looking out for each other, hoping that no injuries come up.
Well, you know, we are the PBA family, and pretty much everybody's staying in the same place. You know, locked down together in the bubble. So, you know, you got to get along. The team is, you know, just one of many teams that are all in the same, you know, area code.
That is indeed, you know, another challenge for players. Of course, they are making sacrifices being away from their families and their loved ones.
Yes.
Entering that bubble. As Nabong finds his throat there.
You know, I guess there's a lot of prayers that have to go out as well, because, you know, these are the breadwinners as well. And, you know, it's not just these guys leaving. The families are also at home. So to all the moms taking care of the kids and everybody at home, you know, we all appreciate what you do as well.
Absolutely. And TNT still up, but by 3 now as Montalvo ran into a wall of a screen from Nabong. And
Wow. I told you he's one of the enforcer types. I would have loved to have seen him against like a Wilmer Ong or a
Yeah.
Dolly Luxin back in the day. That would have been crazy.
how about Baser Amer knocking down a three-pointer there, and that should be a confidence booster for him.
Yeah, let's see it once again. Well, that's Kelly right there. Again, I said he has really gotten some extra range going on as we look at that Amer shot as well. Again, like you said, let's just see if he can get his confidence up. You know, we know he can do it. He's done it before. It's just a matter of getting it going.
Kelly Nabong taking a seat now, but I think in the first half, or the first at least 16 minutes of this game, we've really seen how important Kelly Nabong is to this Blackwater team.
Especially now that you know you're minus a big man, he's gonna have to fill that void.
Castro heading out to the corner. Pogoy, that's a favorite of his, but it doesn't fall in. 7 minutes to go. We're tied up at 31 here in the first half. Lomia, quick attack to the basket. Defense was there. Baser, the floater doesn't fall, but CVC, who has been...
Oh, quick hands by Mikey.
Yeah, and that's going to be a foul on Amir.
Tripped him up in the open court. But this guy's a tough cookie as well. Mikey just doesn't back down from the pressure or the contact.
Yeah, and when you talk about Williams, yes, it is his first year in the PBA. This is only his third game in the league, but he has been in a lot of other competitions, including the NBA G League, so this guy is for real. What did you call Troy again earlier? You know, it was just
The wizard.
Yeah, the wizard.
Baseline wizard.
He shows it there. He just gets in position so well, coach.
He just loves it. I mean, he loves sneaking in behind the defense, kind of sly, kind of crafty, and always a good addition for his team when he gets those little baseline points.
And what he does as well, talking about Troy Rosario, is usually he does work very early. Whenever there's a transition attack for TNT, you'll see Troy rushing down, sealing early. I think he likes this matchup against a former Gilas teammate in Carl Brian Cruz. And a miss there for TNT.
Had to beat the shot clock. Colomia. He loves that spin as well.
Oh, that's the second time that Cruz has been able to draw a foul
Off of
on
Troy.
Rosario
Exactly.
while shooting a three-pointer. The first one happened in the first quarter, and it was an end one.
Troy doesn't like this one because he's saying he kicked him. He felt that Cruz actually kicked Troy. Actually, we'll see it right here. He jumped forward. It's a tough call. That's all I could say.
We see a wound there
Yeah.
in the shin of CVC. Now, if I'm going to be honest, the first time that he was fouled by Troy, there seemed to be a more obvious extension of that right foot earlier in the first quarter.
Hey,
Well, you just try to work, you know, the calls towards you. If
Correct.
you're able to draw the foul, if the foul is whistled on the defender, then you take your free throws. And this timeout is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. You're still watching the Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. You got Judd Sulit and Coach Vince Cizon delivering the action to you right here on PBA Rush. Thanks for joining us. We got a glimpse of that huddle of Blackwater, and while Coach Nash was busy, you know, mapping out plays, X's and O's, Coach Chot in his huddle did not even have a word. It wasn't talking about X's and O's. We know Coach Chot is also excellent at, you know, you're right. You're pointing towards your heart. He's an excellent motivator. That could have been what was happening in his head.
yeah, the guy who invented the tagline "Puso" is basically saying, "Hey guys, this is a heart check right now. You're supposed to be talk and text. You know, the mighty talk and text. You're going against a team that hasn't won a game yet, but right now they've got this lead, so it's time to put up."
At the same time, Coach Vince, something that's cliche, to be honest, is they say it's so difficult going up against a team that's got nothing to lose. And Blackwater is playing like it. I mean, of course they want to save their campaign by starting to collect wins now, but they're playing 0-4. And they're just trying to compete out there.
Yeah, you get your back against the wall. It's not an easy situation, but as you can see, you know, the management is not messing around. They want to win. They've made some lineup changes. They're making some ways, you know, that the team is going to go forward. So obviously players get the idea, hey, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I mean, I could be gone as well. So I got to make sure, you know, I do what whatever I can do to make this team get better and hopefully get W's.
Blackwater is up by 2 right now. Question is, can they sustain this high level of basketball they're showing both offensively and defensively? Look at them rotate and get to the men of TNT, and that was good defense once again by Desiderio staying in front of Pugoy. However, Pugoy getting that ball back. Aram stepping back. Puts the ball on the floor, and boy, Aram.
Whoa.
A showcase of ability.
Wow. Look at the blondie go. That was amazing. Nice little step back from Poi. Drew the defense and then just blew by him. What an amazing play for him.
And even when he stepped back to the three-point range, Gonya had no other choice but to close out because he knew Aram had that shot as well.
He's got that confidence as well. So again, you got to respect it. And if you don't respect the guy's, you know, shooting and he starts burning you, then whose fault is that? It's only yours. So again, great play. Let's again, once again, step back. Here comes Goya. Say bye-bye. You overextend. I go right to the basket. Great play by Poi Aram.
That's just, you know, it goes to show the time of basketball that we are in, where big men can shoot threes, they can dribble. During your time, Coach, when you were playing the PBA, was there a guy, who was the big man who was kind of prominent for having that three-point shot?
Next question. they're not real great shooters out there. Most of them were mid-range. You know, when I think about big guys, they would shoot a little bit mid-range, maybe like a Siegel. Sometimes you would get like Jun Lamport in the mid-range, but you know, not a lot of guys would shoot longer.
And basketball has truly evolved, even with the moves that we're seeing from players. They have invented Euro steps. There's even a Pinoy step that they call now.
Really, what's the difference?
I'll tell you, it's like a long step. You see that move that
I do.
it's I usually see it from CJ Perez.
Yeah.
Remember?
I know what you're talking about.
With that ball fake as well.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's a double long step.
Right.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. Because we can't necessarily get up high as Europeans would be able to do it. But we have our ways. We definitely have our Pinoy style of basketball. How about this? Andre Paras rejecting Alejandro right there, the rookie for Blackwater.
Nice timing there. I mean, as being the son of the Tower of Power, you're going to have some pretty good timing.
And Nabong gets the block on Williams.
And he looks right at the refs and, hey, ref, that's not a call.
Kelly going for the Kobe fadeaway. Doesn't go for him. Blackwater staying patient now on offense. They overload on one side and had to move around. It's Amer. After that three-pointer earlier has gone blank in 2 attempts. TNT up by 2. Amer will try again. He gets Castro on the flyby and finally hits the bottom of the net. Look at the way his body language after knocking out that shot, almost as if to say finally.
Yeah, he had all day to shoot that one. It was just like shooting practice because Jason Castro just blurred by him. So he had all the space. So good way for him to, you know, dial in.
The only thing, Coach Vince, even after that flyby, even if he had 2 full seconds to kind of calibrate that shot, you could tell some hesitation was there.
Still, again, I don't know. He looks like he's grabbing something. I don't know if he
Oh yeah, Baser might have
pulled a muscle or something. Let's just pray he's okay.
absolutely Baser Amer. Important piece for Blackwater, and we've we've seen what he can do here in the PBA as his Blackwater bossing are up by 1. Back inside the Dove Su Gym in Bacolor, Pampanga, as you take a look at Blackwater. Basera Mer just knocked down his second three-pointer. Had all day for that one. Maybe a couple more days.
Yeah, he had like a week and a half for that one. That was a long time to be open. And again, you could tell he was just feeling the ball, just trying to get that rhythm. You know, like we said, he's too good of a shooter not to shoot. And, you know, again, not terribly great, but not bad. 6 points, 2 assists, 2 out of 7 from three-point land. You know, I'm sure that last one really helped his confidence. Let's just see if he starts, you know, looking for the shot more, because he's passed up a couple.
Basera Mer has 6 points in this game. And the highest scoring output he had in his first 3 games was already 6. So, you know, he tied it up already. Turnover there for TNT. Errant pass from Eram. Blackwater left open again. And that's going to be a miss. But then TNT has been allowing the bossing a lot of open looks from outside.
I think they're going to get Nabong once again. He better be careful. He might get him a technical as well. He's kind of talking loud.
This is what happens in an empty gym. We hear all the complaints of players.
There's the face of a guy who's not happy with that call. It wasn't a lot of contact, but the simple fact that there was just a little contact and there was a bad fall, a lot of times the referees will blow that whistle.
You guys watching on PBA Rush probably heard what Kelly, you know, how he contested that call, saying that it was Williams' fault. It is a big concern for Blackwater and for Nabong because that is already his 4th foul.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we go back to the first minute of this game. Blackwater lost a starter in Marion Maga who twisted his ankle.
So they're dropping like flies, and that works 100% to the advantage of Talkatex, who's got like a platoon of big guys who they can just easily insert. So I kind of expect them to just start dropping it down inside, wearing them down. Once they do that, that'll open up things for guys outside, guys like Mikey Williams to get some shots off. You know, Jason Castro as well, and Ruela, who's really a stellar shooter as of late as well.
Williams almost losing that basketball. Castro picking it up, attacking, and that's going to be an offensive foul as he warded Amer off. That's 2 times already that Basera Mer has gotten the better of Jason Castro.
I think he's just too fast for his own good. I don't think he really tried to push off with the shoulder. I think he's just that fast. You know, he was already by the defender, Amer, but tough call.
See Brian Haruela, now with TNT, also previously played for Blackwater. It was in Blackwater that he truly got his break in the PBA. Paras rolling hard, gets it off the glass.
He's made some good things happen. He's got some offensive rebounds, got that block along the baseline, and he had that shot right there. Quality minutes for Paras.
Yeah, he took his time before he made the jump to the PBA, spent a few seasons in the PBA D-League, and back there, you know, he was a rebounding god, pretty much. He was out rebounding every other player on the court, even the imports of school-based teams. You see, he can do stuff like this as well. As you mentioned, some Tower of Power blood running through his veins.
Wow. Second gen players. I think the fathers really worked on developing them.
Oh, absolutely. Here's Amer will
Uh-oh,
take the
heat
shot
check.
as well, and
Heat
there
check.
you go.
There you go. Now he calibrated. He saw the ball go through the net. Confidence up. Technique is on point, and confidence is the big one there. He's gonna start taking more of those shots.
And you know, earlier, TNT was sagging off of Amer a bit. We're lazy to close out. Now they can't do that anymore. And you see Baser asking for that ball again. But it's Paras taking it. Amer, a bit of frustration there.
Wow.
Yeah, what a run there for Blackwater to end that second quarter. Incredible basketball for them in the first half.
They did play definitely very well. Despite the terrible injury to Magad, let's just pray he'll be able to come back hopefully within this day. But a good accounting of themselves. They come out on top, 43-37 at the end of the first half.
It's halftime here between the Blackwater bossing in the TNT Tropang Giga. Blackwater looking for their first win with a 0-4 slate. Tropang Giga 3-0, but it's the bossing up by 6 points here at the half of your Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. Jump Sulit and Coach Vince, he's on here. As you take a look at some of the highlights, Coach Vince, the boy got to scoring early, but it was also a lot of response from Blackwater. They got a boost from recently activated Carl Bryant.
Yeah, Cruz ended up with 9 points in the first half. Had a couple nice shots where he got the defense to foul him, so he had easy free throws there as well.
Yeah, and Mikey Williams, you talked about his struggles before the break. In his 2 games, he only shot 3 for 15 from three-point range, knocked down 2 earlier in the first quarter. And as always, Troy Rosario doing his work underneath.
The baseline wizard.
And also, Brangolia recently activated as well. It was a lot of production from Blackwater. Baser Amer also had 9 points. You mentioned CBC had 9, and CISO had 9 as well. And this is what you want to see if you're Coach Nash Rosella, if you're a supporter of Blackwater. Points spread around across the, several guys on the team.
Yeah, you want to spread it out as much as you can. As we look at some of the halftime stats here, again, I gotta say it, Talk and Text not shooting that good. Only 27 from the field. Blackwater a little bit better at 32. 3-point field goal percentage, 21% for TNT. Just a little bit better for Blackwater. That's why they have that lead at this halftime juncture. Also, surprise for me, they're leading Talk and Text in rebounding, 34-28. Points off turnovers on the side of Talk and Text. And let's go straight to the leading scorers.
Yep, as we said, 9 points each for 3 guys on the side of Blackwater. As for TNT, you got RR Pagoy leading the way with 10 points, and Mikey Williams right at his average already at 8 points. He averaged 8.5 in his first 2 games. But Jason Castro might be on the lower part there.
Yeah, not his usual numbers, but again, this is halftime. We know Jason is a game guy. He likes to win the game, so he usually comes alive in the 3rd and 4th periods. And some good. I thought guys who are X-Factor guys who really helped the cause of Blackwater. And I gotta give credit where credit is due, and that's Paras and Cruz. First half, they really gave their team a lift.
Yeah, and you talk about Jason Castro. He hasn't even made a field goal. Was 0 of 2 in the first half. All 4 points came from the free throw line. Do you expect him to look more aggressive there in the second.
Of course, that's what he does. And when he gets aggressive, look out, world, because it gets a little scary because, you know, that's when he really starts breaking down defenses. Defenses start to collapse. He passes the ball out. Usually it's right on target to the wide open guy who gets those outside shots going. But once that happens, that gives him even more space. So it's a good, I call it symbiotic relationship. Once he gets going, gets that deep penetration, generally good things will happen.
Yep, the numbers we saw earlier are your halftime stats brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. And now we get back to basketball action. And the thing about Jason Castro, you know, furthering our talk about him, he now has a new role, which I think we saw it first about 2 years ago when he started coming off the bench for TNT. And you might think that, some might think that, okay, might not exactly be Jason's team anymore. He might have a secondary role. No, he still leads the team.
No.
And yeah, in terms of scoring at the end of the game, you'll still most likely, more often than not, see him lead the team in scoring off the bench.
Correct. He doesn't need the bulk of the minutes all the time on the court, but you know, he's just teaching the ways to win. You know, he's probably forgotten more about winning than most guys will ever learn. So here's a guy who, again, we'll see him right here. Third quarter, this is when he gets things going.
That's also what you want to do if you're Blackwater. Prevent him from doing damage. Golia getting to a shot there.
And I think they know it as well. Blackwater's been coached by a coach of Talking Tex as well. They know what Jason likes to do. Obviously, Jason wants to win ball games first. That's why third period is when he really gets going, fourth period.
Look at how important Cruz and Golia have been. In their first game for Blackwater in this tournament, they start the second half, of course. Back in the first quarter, Blackwater started with Nabong in Magat. Nabong picked up 4 fouls in the first half, and Magat unfortunately suffered an ankle injury, and Blackwater rolling here. Dakiwag, unafraid, unfazed, attacking and scoring.
That's one of those shots that you mentioned a while ago, fearless, because you know you really don't have a lot to lose because your team hasn't won a ball game, so you're kind of experimenting as well. What are ways that you can help your team and get them to the promised land?
The man with the basketball right now, Jason Castro, this place where they're playing is very familiar to him. He was both a basketball athlete and a track and field athlete for DABSU, or Don Honorio Ventura State University. We actually were able to visit this school, Coach Vince, before when we shot the Kwentong Gilas of Jason Castro. And
Wow.
right outside the school, there's a strip of concrete, the street. And that was where their intramurals would be held. And that's where Jason would sprint. And in one of those intrams was where the basketball coach noticed him. And he was invited to try out for the basketball team. And as they say, the rest was history. It started the story of how Jason Castro became the best point guard in Asia.
I would imagine in the next few years you're going to have a statue of him here. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know, everybody's road is different, and this is what I always tell budding players or kids who are looking to get into basketball. It doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned, especially the way things are now. It doesn't matter where you start. It's where you're going and where you end up that really matters. So again, you could start from this school in Pampanga and end up on the biggest stage in the world. Again, it's not where you start, it's how hard you work, it's what you put into the game that usually ends up in resulting where you end up.
Where TNT wants to end up in this game, though, TNT and Jason Castro wants to end up on the winning side of this game, but they trail by 7 points as Blackwater has played tremendously in the first half as well as the first few minutes of this third quarter. Boy, Eram doing something about that, inching TNT closer. We're down by 6.
Who would have thought that Talking Tex would be down by 6 at this juncture? This is a team that's undefeated going against a defeated, all their games anyway, team in Blackwater. But again, you got to give credit to Blackwater. They're loose, they're going hard, and they're attacking.
TNT's turn to attack here. Kubuntin spots Eram, but boy could not get it. Good defense for Golia really so far here. Oh, a bit ambitious on that pass was Enciso. Trying to feed Cruz down in the paint. I felt like what you said would be key in Blackwater getting a win over TNT. You said it would be playing a faster pace of the game.
Yeah.
It proved well in the first half.
They got to keep it up, and they got to shoot well. I mean, you got to do both. What really shocked me, to be honestly, in the first half was the fact that they out-rebounded Talk-N-Text. I mean, who would have thought that would happen, especially with all the big guys that they have and all the big guys that, Talk-N-Text is minus right now because of the foul trouble or the injuries. So, that Blackwater doesn't have. So again, they're really playing well. They played a very good first half.
TNT though, getting a bucket here, courtesy of Troy Rosario. And again, it will fall upon, the result of this game will fall upon the consistency that Blackwater can show. How can they fight back when TNT goes on these comeback runs? Because several times in the first half, Coach Vince, Blackwater was already able to build up a lead. Never a comfortable enough lead, but they would go ahead.
Yeah, it's a lead, but it's...
And then TNT would get back.
That's the amazing, firepower that they have. They, have this ability to withstand the, sort of like a Pacquiao fight. He'll take a punch, and then he'll punch you back 5 times. That's kind of like what Talk-N-Text does to a lot of teams. They'll take it. Okay, it hurt. Fine. Let's regroup. Let's do what we do.
That's exactly what we're seeing right now. At some point, Blackwater was up by 7 points. Suddenly, TNT just down by 2. We have a timeout brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of your PBA. Here we go with the continuation of the PBA. Again, we waited a month, but finally, basketball action is back on the hard court. It's back on your screens here on PBA Rush. And Mikey Williams is also back, and we're seeing more of what this rookie can do. At 10 points, this is now his highest scoring output in his very young PBA career.
Yeah, good numbers for him, and we actually talked about him at the start of the broadcast about how he's had a cold start thus far. Again, this is one of those guys who's adjusted. During the time that we've had off because of the transfer back to the bubble, he's had chance to really hone his game. He's already felt what PBA contact feels like. He's adjusted to the speed, and things are looking good for him. He's got his confidence up, and I think we should change this from a cold start to a pretty warm start for Mr. Mikey here in this game.
Blackwater now, their lead is just 2 points. Mikey Williams also had a lot to do with TNT climbing back. Still lots of basketball to be played here. This is the first game of the PBA resumption after a month-long break, as of course the PBA expressed its support to the country's efforts in battling the COVID-19 or handling the COVID-19 situation. We give a lot of props to the PBA, of course, Coach Vince, putting everyone's health first.
Yes, safety and health first, especially now. We know everybody knows that everybody's struggling, but we also realize that, the PBA is an institution. People need something to watch, and they're trying to bring the best type of entertainment, basketball, sports to their homes, to give them something to really look forward to. Of course, everybody loves the PBA, and they're doing it in a way that it's healthy and it's safe for all of those involved.
Absolutely, and Glenn Cobuntin flexing his muscles there, and what a
big
run this
Big
has
kid.
been.
That's a very big kid, and I think he's been like the same size and strength since like birth. No, just kidding. Since like college, he's always been a very muscular guy. You can tell he spends a tremendous amount of time in the weights room and working on his craft on the court as well. So he's just a great asset for Coach, Chad Reyes.
Definitely, and you look at the Instagram of Cobuntin and you see him, a lot of workouts, a lot of off-season work that he put in during that break. TNT with a massive run here. This is what we were talking about, the comeback ability of the Tropa.
Take a punch, hit him back 5 times. It's like the way that they are. I mean, they maybe kind of experimented a bit with some different lineups and some different plays that they were running in the first half, but second half they're all business.
Absolutely, and this run that we're seeing from TNT, this is now a 12 to 3 run. And we saw actually 12 to 1 run.
See, this is why the coaches make the big bucks. They got to make those adjustments, and you got to give credit. First of all, to Coach Nash for making the adjustments with his lineup and his team going into this game, especially on the fly when his big man got injured. And then you got to give credit to Coach Chad Reyes. Halftime, I'm sure he let them have an earful of what he wanted to get across, which we know Coach Chad has a pretty interesting way of doing. So, their guys got the message, they've made their adjustments, and now they got the lead.
And now, the pressure is on Blackwater's side, and this is where they will be tested. How do they respond?
It's their turn to adjust again.
Ooh. Look at that defense that TNT threw at Blackwater, blitzing the ball handler. There is a debate
It's fun.
on the court right now on whose ball it should be.
I don't care if he had a super duper slow motion on this one. It's a tough call for any referee to make. It was close, but
They award the possession to TNT.
Williams said he didn't touch it. So, I guess in that particular instance.
Okay, we'll ask you, and be honest. Did
No,
you ever
I never
admit-
fouled anybody.
Exactly what I was going to say. And would you admit if it was your last touch?
Of course not. Unless it's in my Christian league.
Well, I guess we go back to that point you made when CBC was able to draw a foul on Rosario. Sometimes the tactics you use to try and get things your way, it backfires and the call goes against you. But when you get the calls towards your way, you try to go with those.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. A win is a win, and sometimes it just takes 1 point to win a ball game. And sometimes those little things mean the difference between the game won and the game lost.
And now Jason Castro getting a field goal. The first field goal for Castro actually in this game, but you know that he's about to get some more of those. Suddenly it's a 7-point lead for TNT.
They kind of got bailed out there. Blackwater did. They had them where they wanted them. They had good pressure defense there. Look at that steal by the Blur. And the Blur goes streaking. The Blur goes scoring.
Yeah, pardon me, that was his second field goal of Jason Castro. He's got 8 points now. But again, the run of TNT, this is now an 11-0 run, but it's also 16-1. That's how big that rally has been.
See, and this is those times when, if you're a Blackwater team player, you have to realize you still got to play team ball. You can't just do, 1 versus 5 type of situations. You can't make that always happen. So you still got to follow the coach's instructions, do your thing within the system. You know, that's a big challenge as well, because players, when they get to this level, pro level, you can play. You can play basketball. You know what's going on, and you know you have confidence to get things done. But you still have to play within the system because you're on a team.
Blackwater is getting points from the free throw line, but they've only hit one field goal here in the third quarter, and that was that floater that the Kiwag made very early in the third. But since then, all free throws, and it's been the defense really, Coach Vince, of TNT that has changed the complexion of this ball game.
Oh, wow. Now you got Heruela doing his thing. Again, there's just so many weapons for the Giga.
See if Blackwater can convert here. That one's too strong for Talomia.
Good dime, good pass. Oh, Williams didn't finish, but that was a great pass by Heruela.
Yeah, they've had a couple of sorry misses, but then, they've converted some of the shots that they should convert. Amer missing again. Closing in on 5 minutes remaining here in the third, and it's a 7-point lead for TNT again. Such a big run that they've gone on here. Mikey Williams looking more and more aggressive, Coach.
Correct. And kids, if you're watching this, I hope we show this again, especially on slow motion. You got to see the in and out move that Mikey Williams did to freeze the defender around the short 17 right there. It was a thing of beauty. He made his guy look like he was going to cross him over, but he went the in and out move and just blew right by him. Great move from Mikey Williams.
You said it, Coach. The more that this guy gets comfortable in TNT and playing in the PBA, the more that he's going to be a problem for opposing teams.
Yeah, especially kids who are coming over from other places, other systems, other ways of playing. It's a big adjustment when you adjust to the PBA brand of play. As they say, it's a little bit faster. I say that. A little bit stronger. It's a little more what I call horizontal, a little less vertical, because people are out there pushing you left and right. So it's an adjustment, and the quicker you make the adjustment, the better. That's why I say that this whole time off to sort of transition into the bubble has been good for some guys like him.
Look at how TNT extended their defense.
Woo, around the back.
Chris getting a little bit fancy, still resulting to 3 points.
Oh, look out, world. Mikey's getting his confidence.
TNT now up by 12 points, looking more like the 3-0 team that they are. Blackwater looking for solutions. They get something through Simon and Cecil, who has been the points provider of this squad.
Need a few more of those, but just a second ago, that was a double-digit lead. Thank goodness for guys like, Cecil, who are making good things happen for his team.
We're definitely getting a glimpse of what Mikey Williams can do, in full potential.
He's got a little pep to his step now. You can tell his confidence goes higher and higher with every trip down the court.
Escoto, challenged by Heruela, will head to the free throw line.
That's what I like about Heruela, though. He's fearless. He's not the biggest guy. You look at him, he stands, 5'8", 9? On a good day, 10? I don't know. Depends on what shoes he's wearing. And, but I've seen some of the workouts he does. He posts some things on social media.
Right, yeah.
He's always working hard. If it's not in the weight room, it's with a coach doing plyometrics or some kind of explosive training. He's real... student of the game, and he's a guy who puts on his hard hat, as they say, and goes to work every day. This is not just a game to him. This is his work, and he loves doing it.
Yeah, and when you talk about Heruela and where he came from, he was, I don't know if a lot of people know this by now, but then he was the point guard of Jumar Fajardo back at the University of Cebu.
Yeah. So
and the time that they spent together in San Miguel, that was a dream come true for both gentlemen to be in the pro league and together again.
Yeah, that was amazing to watch too, and they really obviously knew how each other played and where they wanted the ball. And, it was fun to watch.
Dave Marcelo, he's carved out his own niche here in the PBA, and he's found that role that was meant for him. Was a finals MVP back in college, a rookie of the year for San Beda, and multiple time champion there. But obviously, when you go up and play with the bigger boys, sometimes you have to change it up a bit. And I think it took a few years, but he knows now the kind of role he's supposed to assume here in the league.
Yeah, well, he's a big guy. He's not a guy who will back away from any type of contact, but he's got a lot of bounce. Don't let his stature fool you. He's a guy who can really run, can really bounce, and he's strong.
Heruela, he gets some space. Heruela gets the bounce. Everything falling
Hard
for
work.
TNT.
Hard work pays off for him.
Blackwater has fallen behind. They will have to regain their footing here in this game. And Ciso getting that nice bounce pass from Delomia.
13 points. What an amazing third period for Talking Text.
Back in the second quarter, it was amazing how Blackwater limited TNT to just 9 points while scoring 23. But that story has completely flipped. Here in the third quarter, 33 points in the quarter now for TNT, only 11 for Blackwater.
What an explosion for TNT. If you think about it, TNT explodes talaga.
Oh yeah.
Especially the third period tonight. And then you got Dave Marcelo hitting threes now as well. So things are looking great for Talking Text. You got to make your adjustments if you're Blackwater.
And that guy in gray might be the fittest guy in the squad of TNT right now. This is the PBA. Yes, it's back. Yes, you're watching this and it's live. As the TNT Tropang Giga has had a masterful third quarter. John Sulit and Coach Vince, he's on here bringing you the action. Coach Vince, 33 points in the third quarter alone. And we have 2 more minutes left. That's what TNT has been able to do. Everyone contributing. Brian Heruela part of the mix with 8 points.
Yeah, you wanted guys to really step up, and Ruela has really done that for his team. Like we always said as well, Coach Chot always likes balanced scoring. He likes different guys to have to get going, and right now we're seeing it play out to its mastery. Because now, really, Blackwater doesn't know what to do as far as who to focus on guarding because everybody's playing. Oh, we saw a little tower of power there. I don't know if you saw that. Nice little throwdown from Faras.
He definitely has that in his bag.
Yeah.
So we'll bring it out every opportunity that he can. And of course, if you're Blackwater, you're hoping that pumps up the entire team. They do get a stop, and that's back-to-back baskets. Quick ones, exactly what you want if you're the bossing.
Still not out of the woods. I mean, it's not like a 20, 30-point lead. This is only 12. So Talking Tech still has some work to do.
You know what, Coach? We are seeing just superb ball movement for TNT throughout this third quarter.
When you start shooting those shots, that's why I've always loved shooting, because I've seen it firsthand many times. When you shoot well, the whole court just seems to open up. you know, and your guys that were having a hard time inside all of a sudden have a little more space to get their job done as well. So, you know, you can never discount the fact that a good shooting team will always open up things for, you know, more opportunities inside.
And now Blackwater getting another stop. So the bossing responding well to that timeout, that huddle they had earlier. And you know what? The way he threw that down, really reminiscent
Daddy.
of his father, the Tower of Power, Benji Paras.
Wow. Papa Bear. So is he Baby Bear or
I wonder when,
Baby Cub?
if and when, Andre will shave his head.
Oh no, I don't know.
To really
I
bring out that Paras.
I don't know. That'll be cool though. I'd like to see it.
But definitely, you know, it's a different story for Andre. And still made his way in the PBA. Played briefly in the University of the Philippines for the Fighting Maroons. Also had his stint in the show business, but then basketball never stopped knocking on his door.
Basketball never stops. Now let's just see if Blackwater can write the last sentence of this chapter of the third period here.
Ciso staring down. Castro steps back, gives it up. CBC will try to get it up, but it was
He was trying to
not
get
the way.
He was trying to get another foul for another three-point.
And not that time, as the TNT Tropang Giga, thanks to a 37-point third quarter, go up by 14. Simon and Ciso, you know, he has had marvelous stretches here in the conference, even before the break. And he might have to pull out another one, Coach Vince, if Blackwater wants to get out and out of this 14-point hole that they've fallen in and grab their first win. And if they do so against TNT, that would definitely be a big W for them.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been leading the charge for his team, as we mentioned. You know, he's hot shooting when he gets going. Just give him the rock. He's just got to get other guys like him, Baser, somehow to get a little more consistent. But look at this quarter-by-quarter scoring, and look at the big difference between second and third. 25-9 for Blackwater, 37-17. That's a 20-point difference. We're talking tax in the third period.
Cruz, again, you know, helping out Blackwater.
He's been a positive for them. I think he's been an asset since he got in, and I think he's a good pickup.
Well, he was definitely, you know, one of the guys who was a big part of Alaska when he was there before getting traded to Blackwater. Kubuntin misses on that one. Here's another opportunity for Blackwater. And if they are going to make a run, they might have to do it right now, early in the fourth quarter, because we know how disciplined TNT is, especially late in the game.
2 free throws off the... Well, he thought it was a blocked shot, but the Kiwa was able to get a little hand contact as well. Referee blew the whistle. Let's see if Blackwater, it's a smart way to go. I always say, game clock is stopped and you're shooting free throws, making points. That's if you make them, of course.
Blackwater now 12 of 18 from the free throw line. You never want to waste opportunities opportunities like that, especially if you're down, you're trying to get back against
Yeah.
a team that's still undefeated in the tournament.
I think that it's more than never one away. You don't have the option of missing
Oh, yeah.
shots because you are against a very, very formidable foe, and then you just blew away 2 points right there. I mean, that could have really, brought it to within 10 points. I mean, again, these things add up. It may seem small right now, but when you look at the stats at the end of the ballgame, you're like, yeah, I wish I had those free throws back.
Bad miss for Jason Castro. I can't think of out of the top of my head the last time I saw Castro airball. Good look from outside.
Well, they have some new windows here at the gymnasium. No, just kidding. Perhaps it's
Someone
slipped.
left the fan open.
I give him the credit, the benefit of the doubt. Ball slipped.
And which
Do you think that's
happens,
do you
actually, right?
think that's going to stop him from shooting? Of course not.
You see, that's something that Mikey Williams and Brian Heruela bought in the third quarter when they were playing very well. They got extra rest for Jason Castro. And now in the fourth quarter, Coach Chot can deploy the blur early.
Oh, man. So many options. Like, endless. Like the big Rubik's Cube of which one you want to put out there first,
Who's having to... Oh, yeah. And it didn't look like the best idea to begin with. You have your four-man bringing that ball down. And
Yeah.
you have to credit, again, the defense of TNT for forcing them to that.
Yes, but, you got to be solid. You got to have fundamentally sound moves. Jump stops are always important.
We have a timeout brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA.
Not on.
In his very first game in the tournament in the Philippine Cup, Carl Brian Cruz has been marvelous, to say the least. You see his contributions. And you did identify, Coach Vince, that Blackwater was sort of in need of some help in the front line. Here's their help.
Yeah, he's an undersized big guy, but he's very effective. Don't let the fact that he's not, predominantly, 6 foot, upper 6 foot.
He's about 6'4", yeah.
Exactly. So, we got to make sure that, he is effective, and we know that, he's a baller. You can tell he thinks like a baller, and he wants his team to win.
Cruz also has had stints with Gilas Pilipinas, of course, where he would have to play against larger, taller big men of other countries, and he would hold his own. He would be unafraid to mix it up and just bang bodies with other players on the court, no matter how much bigger they were. And Glenn Cobuntin also unfazed and unafraid.
I think those two saw each other in UAB a few times.
Definitely.
as well.
It's actually nice to see, players that you really saw throughout their collegiate careers finally be in the PBA. You look at Blackwater, right?
Did you just see the blur walk on the wall? That's how fast he goes.
Some parkour.
Gravity doesn't affect him. Oh my goodness. I've never
That's
seen
Jason
that.
Castro for you.
Have you ever seen it? Like Spider-Man out there. How do you walk on the wall?
How about TNT, Coach Vince? Still getting right on their average for points off turnovers. They averaged 22 and they're at 20 with about 8.5 minutes remaining.
Again, they're consistent. They have a game plan. They're very well coached and very well backed, obviously. So they just know what they have to do, and they're prepared to work hard to get there.
And in a time where basketball analytics is more important or gets more looked on than ever, some coaches would take a look at, all right, TNT, they lead the league in points off turnovers, 22 a game. We want to limit them to maybe just half or 3/4 of that. But here's Blackwater, and they unfortunately, allow TNT to get right up their average.
You can try to do a lot of things, but against, again, people that really don't know will never really understand. These teams just have a way of getting it done. No matter what you throw at them, they change. And if they can change on the fly well enough, they can still do what they came to do in the first place.
That's 16 turnovers for Blackwater that TNT has scored on.
Wow, that's a lot of points there.
Yeah, so imagine if all of those 20 points came from 2-pointers and 2-point field goals, then that's 10 out of the 16 turnovers that TNT capitalized on.
That's big time. I'm a little surprised here. Nabong's got 7 points now and 10 boards. He really hasn't taken a lot of outside shots. The first two games, the first game he made a lot of the outside three-pointers. Second one he took them, but he wasn't making them. But this one he's not even attempting them. So it's a different look for Kelly Nabong in the last few games.
There's something else, Coach Vince. Remember when you were surprised back in the first half when Blackwater out-rebounded TNT? Well, now in terms of rebounding, it's a +7 for TNT.
Wow. Again, once they want to turn it on. Again, I just wish we had a little bird in the window listening to the words of encouragement that Coach Rodriguez gave them in halftime. Because I'm sure he said, guys, can't do this. This is not the way we play. And again, give credit to his guys for responding and hearing the bell and responding well.
Oh, absolutely. I've been fortunate to be in a locker room where Coach Chot motivates. He really knows what to say. Jason Castro, look at him. He will always get things done. 11 points. Maybe a little bit of a struggle, not the best shooting night, but then as long as they get the W, that's what's important to Jason.
That's all he really cares about. He's a guy who definitely has his team's best interests at heart, and that big W is the most important. Again, the blur, just an amazing performance once again. He's just got that ability to say, okay, I'm going to play basketball now, and then he just sticks it in that extra gear with the nitrous, and he just takes off, and there's no stopping him once he does that.
It actually feels like he always has that nitrous on with how quick he is. But yeah, this time,
good D
just
here.
Excellent defense, and Nabong really brought out so many moves already.
Yeah. And he knew there's nowhere to go except get blocked or travel, so he'll take the travel. He'd rather not give Boy the satisfaction.
Yeah, didn't even take the shot anymore. Boy never had a chance to get his hands on that ball. You hear the encouragement on the Blackwater side, telling them to go, but they don't get the bounce there. Rosario collecting that rebound up high. 16-point lead now for TNT. They enter the second half down by 6. Again, 37 points in the third quarter. That was enough to build this advantage.
So now, character building time as well. Because again, coaches are going to say, okay, what did we do good? What could we improve on? And right now, Blackwater is probably saying, hey, we did good on this department. There's another department we have to fix. One thing they do need to work on still is the rebounding. Even though they did out-rebound Talking Tex in the first half, they really lost that lead. And it looks like confidence, I guess you could say, here in the second half.
They've been able to get some stops, and they've been able to get in transition, but then a lot of times TNT outnumbers them even when it's Blackwater in transition. Look at this. See how fast TNT gets back on defense. There were already 3 players there, Coach Vince. As for Pugoy, he's all alone, but he'll miss with the contest from Paras, and those 2 guys make it 3 after Montalvo falling.
Uh-oh. Let's just pray they're okay. But
You
gotta give credit to Paras for not giving up on the play. That's a hard play right there.
Definitely.
But, I don't think he meant anything bad. But he was going full steam ahead, wanted to get that block. And that's why the cameraman wears knee pads. Because you got people coming at you.
But how about the hustle of Montalvo, able to get that on the second try and even draw a foul on Desiderio? What I felt though, Coach, is that if Pugoy just laid it up with his left hand, he might have gotten it the 2 points initially. But hey, TNT got the 3. He'll be happy with that.
Definitely. And now they're up pretty big. Less than 6 minutes to go.
And it's been this kind of defense for TNT.
That's it. That's what Talking Tex wants, those easy baskets off turnovers.
And Blackwater, players just slow to get up and down the court at this point.
Look at the advantage they have as well. You got Poi and Rosario inside, 6'8", 6'8", and athletic and likes to run. Wow. Their own little version of Twin Towers.
And Kim Montalvo also contributing. Last year in the PBA bubble in Pampanga, in Angeles, his stint was cut short with an injury. But right now, he's back on the roster of TNT, ready to play alongside young guys like Mikey Williams. And they're doing damage here. A steal and a bucket for Williams. A 3-ball for Montalvo. And TNT up by 24. Coach Nash Racela was also part of the TNT squad before, from 2008 to 2016. He was there an assistant, and from 2016 to 2018, he was elevated and promoted to being the TNT head coach. And there has just been a lot of success for the franchise. A large part of that, 6 of their championships were with Coach Chod, and he has been with this team many times before. And those 2 gentlemen, Coach Vince, very respected mentors in Philippine basketball.
Not just respected, but they respect each other as well. They value each other's work, and they, like you said, they had a long, successful stint together with TNT in the past. So I'm sure. I think in the back of their minds they're enjoying. Oh, and Poi will get a foul. I think that will be Enciso. That will go to the free throw line as well.
It's going to be Richard Escoto.
Escoto, sorry, my fault. So again, I think that's one thing that they can work on in their next succeeding practice is how to close out better on shooters without fouling, because they've given away 3 or 4 of those today, right? 3. So that's a lot of points.
Yeah, the 2 that Rosario committed on CBC and then this one.
Yes, correct.
But then, it's easier, in all honesty, if you're being aggressive when you're closing out, it's easier to say don't foul the shooter than doing it. Because if you really want to bother a shot, remember, these guys are professional basketball players. Right, Coach Vince? I mean, if there's a guy who can really hit three-pointers and you really want to bother his shot, you really run a thin line of kind of getting in his shooting area.
You know what guys would try to do to me, or what I would do to them? And it was always fun. They would aim at ears. They would literally like glance your ear with their finger, just to like get your attention about, hey, just to throw you off a little bit. So a lot of times the ref won't see it. It's not like you're slapping them in the head or face or anything. Just sort of glancing. It's enough to like, what's that?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Those are the tricks. The tricks are the tricks.
I also remember one series before that the LA Lakers played against the Houston Rockets, and what Shane Battier do to Kobe would have his hand
right in his face. You can't do that anymore.
Exactly. That's also something that merits a technical foul now. So
I don't particularly agree with that part, but you got your hand up. Don't let him see. It's not your fault.
Yeah, if you had your fingers up to his eye, then I would think that shouldn't be allowed at all.
Nabong with a no call there. I think he kind of got away with the foul just prior to that, getting that offensive rebound. So anyhow,
the TNT defense, it has changed this game completely.
Yeah.
A full flip. They started pulling out that full court press in the third quarter, which so many turnovers on the side of Blackwater, and then the second and third unit guys for TNT is doing so much damage here.
They got easy buckets, and then they just totally changed the complexity of the basketball game.
TNT has gotten points from many different guys. And of course, one of them will always be our Arpagoy.
Yeah, this Spitfire can really make it rain with his nice jumper there. He's one of those guys that you can never really count out. Even if he's not having a particularly good game, maybe even in the first 2 or 3 quarters, come fourth period, he knows what to do.
TNT has 3 guys in double figures, led by Mikey Williams with 16, Pugoy with 13, and Castro with 11. And they have 5 more other guys with at least 8 points. So it really paints a picture of how balanced their offense has been, and the fact that they just have so many weapons on the offensive front.
They do, and not just on offense, on defense. I think one of the great pickups they've had defensively is Eximiano. As we see Alejandro get the steal and the layup there. Again, defense leads to good offense. Easy baskets.
When I first saw the average of TNT of points and turnovers, points from turnovers rather, 22, I was blown away. I mean, that's a number you don't often see. But in this game, Coach Vince, how about 27 points coming from the errors of Blackwater?
It's a lot of points. And, a lot of times those aren't necessarily just forced errors. Sometimes those are unforced errors, but again,
Right.
Talking Text just knows what to do. You know, when the ball gets loose, the guys start filling the lanes, and they just start running.
And you know what, if you're just joining us and you didn't see the first half, Blackwater actually led the game at the half by 6 points. But then TNT outscored them 37-17 in the third quarter. And here, Blackwater had just broken into the 10-point mark for them here in the fourth quarter. TNT has scored 20 already.
37 points in a quarter is ridiculous. That's a lot of points, man.
Especially in your first official game in the gym, where most other teams would still be feeling out or, you know, getting accustomed to it. Not TNT.
2 seconds.
Alejandro floats it up, no good. Battle for the rebounds taken by Toralba, the rookie for Blackwater. 2:20 left in this game. Tolomia from the corner doesn't go.
And now Talking Text will just bleed the clock. They know that the game clock is on their side, so I don't imagine any more quick shots from them coming forward.
We had a long break, Coach Vince, but then, you know, with the resumption, now PBA games are going to be held more often, and teams will most likely be playing every other game day. How does that affect the preparation and, you know, the physical and mental conditioning of these players?
Well, definitely it's going to be intense. So those guys who are and remained in good shape are going to have the advantage. But those guys who let it go a little bit, they're going to have the disadvantage. So again, you can never really predict what's going to happen. You just got to always be ready when it comes to these, you know, these games, these basketball times that we're in right now.
It's important to note as well that during that break, it wasn't until the teams got to the bubble in Pampanga that they were able to practice or at least, you know, exercise as a unit.
Correct. And that's tough too. But again, what's great about it in one sense, nobody's different. Everybody's the same.
That is true.
So they all have the same, you know, possibilities and the same, you know, challenges as well. So it's up to them. How do they adjust, and how do they bring that forward?
Yeah, because when the tournament was suspended, our last playing date before this was August 1st. So from then on, teams were not even allowed to go in their own bubbles or to practice. All they had, we were able to talk to several coaches, assistant coaches of different squads. All of them only had Zoom workouts. And that was as much as they could spend together. So that's also why we saw from the social media pages of these teams that the moment they got there in Pampanga, they were working out along the hallways of the hotels they were staying in function rooms.
It's the times we're in. You know, in a lot of ways, it's one way to look at it. It's kind of like a traveling circus. It always changes. It's never going to be the same, you know. But again, it's a great opportunity for a lot of these guys to really shine. I mean, you're focused. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's not like you have to think about things, you know, that you have to do around the house to fix up all your, you know, there's just pure basketball. That's pretty much what it is.
And TNT, it looks like they never lost a step. They were 3-0 before the break, and right after it, after an entire month away from actual PBA games, here they are again blowing out Blackwater. They're up by 20 points after that layup from Tolomia. And again, you know, just great production from many different players in this game. And we saw Mikey Williams, we saw Pogoy, little bit of Jason Castro as well. TNT coming together as a unit.
Yeah, even guys like Dave Marcello playing pretty good. You know, you got a lot of guys who can really make it happen for Talking Text that really had a chance to get not only just playing time, but a good opportunity to shine as well. Kabunting had his time, Pogoy, Sario, you know, all these guys. And oh, by the way, that other guy, Castro, yeah, that's his name.
Oh yeah,
he's pretty good too. So you know, you got all these guys, so many weapons, such a depth to the Talking Text, you know, lineup and roster. So you know, all of these guys are gonna keep getting better and better as far as I'm concerned. Blackwater has just got their work cut out for them. They have to make certain adjustments to make their lineup and their team a little bit more competitive.
And it's a 20-point win for the TNT Tropang Giga. They go up to 4-0, now tied for first place in the team standings alongside Magnolia. As for Blackwater, they fall further. Now a solo 12th place as they drop to 0-5, and they've matched their longest losing streak dating back to last conference back in 2020. And the player of the game is Pampanga native, definitely feeling at home, Jason Castro.
Yeah, he came home to his old high school and really made it happen. 11 points, 2 assists, 4 out of 4 and from the free throw line, and 3 out of 9 from the field. Not a great first half, but he's definitely turned on the afterburners in the second half.
Jason Castro is our next level player of the game, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA.
Magandang hapon po, Coach and Jason. Congratulations. Jason, anong masasabi mo sa iyong homecoming game?
Hindi ko ma-imagine na makakapaglaro ko ulit dito sa gym na to kasi almost 18 years. Nung nag-graduate ako ng high school dito, naglaro ako ng varsity dito. So, sobrang thankful ako sa PBA na dinala dito yung game at saka kina Gov, Pineda at saka kay Congressman Dong na ito yung napili nilang venue. At saka siyempre sa governor natin, sa lahat ng mga PBA na bumubuo ng PBA, sobrang thankful ako na ito yung napiling venue. Thank you.
Ano yung una mong naramdaman nung pagkatapak mo ulit?
Excited na first time ko atang kabahan. Kasi yun nga, since dito ako namulat sa basketball So dito ako nangarap, and then nung sinabing dito gagawin yung PBA, sobrang yun nga, parang nakaka-proud kasi nakarating ako dito through sa kanila.
Coach Shot, your thoughts po on the game po?
Well, our objective sa game na to was to put together 48 minutes of good basketball, and obviously we failed because Blackwater outplayed us in the first 24 minutes. Credit to Coach Nash and his staff. They came out with a very good and solid game plan against us, and pinahirapan kami talaga sa first half. But fortunately, we were able to adjust, and I think our depth showed in the second half. I think we wore them down a bit with our pressure and our depth. Kaya that's why we were able to pull this W off.
Coach, your team seemed to play parang they're enjoying the game po. Ano po yung mentality going to game?
Yeah, sometimes sobrang enjoy. But we really try to build that in our way of doing things. Where the most important thing for us is to understand why we're doing this, and at the same time enjoy and be grateful that we have this opportunity to do this. So hopefully in the way we play, it manifests the joy we have in playing this game.
Thank you, Coach. Coach, may magtatanong po sa ating press friends, Mr. Ray Hoble.
Where
Hi, Coach.
the most important
Congratulations.
thing for us is to understand why we're doing this,
Hi.
and at the same
Coach,
time enjoy.
nakita mo na ba yung, yung true
and be
potential
grateful
ni
that we have
Mikey
this
Williams?
opportunity to- Hindi ko marinig, sorry. Hopefully, in the way we play,
Coach, may magtatanong po sa ating press friends,
Coach, can you hear me?
Mr. Ray Hoble.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations.
yan.
Coach, are you now beginning to see the true potential of Mikey Williams?
Well, I don't think everybody knew naman what Mikey could do coming in. I think it's just a matter of him getting acclimatized to the style of play here and understanding how difficult it is to play in this league. That's number one. And then secondly, just understanding how to play with his teammates. So I don't look at it that way. Hindi ko tinitingnan whether we're seeing his true potential or not. For me, we're just taking a look at how we can continuously improve as a team and how we can all help Mikey and how Mikey can continuously help us as well. So fortunately we've been able to churn out W's, like I said, even if we've been struggling and we haven't been able to play full 48-minute ball games.
Thank you.
Always some wise words from Coach Chot, and that was also heartwarming. You know what Jason said, that this is the very gym where he started to dream about making it to the PBA. And now PBA has allowed him to play once again in this gym, and yung excitement that he was talking about as we take a look at our game highlights. Brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Yun yung excitement, Coach. It kind of translated to a rough first half, baka sumobra excitement.
Yeah, exactly. He might have been a little too fired up. Gotta chill out and just play basketball a little bit, and he did just that, especially in the third and fourth period.
Yeah, but TNT also came out with guns firing. Many different guys, Troy Rosario and Mikey Williams, able to contribute in the first quarter, but this was where Blackwater would turn up.
They got hot. They got started to make some shots. Right there's Baser who was so happy to make that shot. He was like, I guess you could say a little frustrated with himself. He's probably been missing shots he normally makes. So once he did that, he got hot, he got confident, he started doing a little heat check shot there. Nice shot from the left wing.
He had 3 3-pointers in the first half, and Blackwater outscored TNT 25-9 in that second quarter, on their way to a 6-point lead at the half. But then the third quarter happened.
Yeah, this is the big discrepancy. How do you go from scoring 9 points in the second quarter to 37 in the third? I mean, obviously something happened, and I'm pretty sure it was Coach John Reyes firing up his boys at halftime.
And I think you'll see it as well, Coach, with the highlights we're showing. A lot of them coming from the turnovers of Blackwater. We did have this jam from Andre Paras, but again, it was pretty much a quarter that TNT owned.
Pretty encouraging from Paras. It's nice to see, but they went down pretty big, 14.
Yeah, down by 6 to start the quarter, up by 14 to end it. And more of TNT in the fourth. Jason Castro finally, getting more comfortable. Kind of finding the equilibrium already, not too excited, but like Coach Chot was asked, and he talked about Mikey Williams, his best scoring game in his 3 matches in the PBA.
Mikey's going to be a force going forward, and the thing that I really am impressed with Talking Tex is the way that they really spread the court so well. Their spacing is really good, so it really gives the space for guys like Jason Castro, Mikey Williams to really do their thing down the middle.
Absolutely. So it's TNT taking their 4th win in as many games. We got this game next. It's Terra Firma versus the San Miguel Beermen. Stay stuck here on PBA Rush. Thank you for joining us, Jud Sulit and Coach Vince Sison.